I'm Mieke Meurs, and I'm a professor of economics. I work on microeconomic issues, mainly having to do with the household and how households decide how to use their resources. That might mean their land or their labor, and how households decide what to invest in. I teach a PhD microeconomic course, which is called Heterodox microeconomics. And in Heterodox micro, we focus on sort of non-mainstream theories of micro, which really focus on those types of new microeconomics that I was talking about, behavioral and feminist, and something that's called evolutionary, that looks at the way economic agents' behavior changes, mainly as a result of their interactions with other economic agents. I was interested in development issues, so having to do with rural households mainly. And I was looking at how they use their land. And it just got me interested in the connections between how you use your land, and then of course that is affected by how you use your labor and whether you're sending your kids to school. So they all were sort of linked, and I got more and more interested in the process of how households made these decisions. So that we can't talk about the household as if households everywhere behave in the same way. So our models are going to have to be much more tailored to the specific context we're thinking about. So if I, as a feminist economist, I think about households making decisions through a bargaining process, which may be more or less conflictual, I have to think about that in a really different way if I'm thinking about Sweden. But if you're in Tajikistan, you live in a household that might have 7 members, and it's probably not just you and your spouse, it's you and your spouse and his parents, both his father and his mother traditionally has a lot of say over what the daughter-in-law does with her time. So you might be bargaining not just with your spouse, right, but with your mother-in-law and maybe also your father-in-law and maybe also some brothers who are in the household or even sisters of your spouse. When we think about a model, which is what economists have sort of traditionally done, we can't think about as a generic standard of human behavior. We have to really think about the way that human behaviors are so heavily influenced by the context, and we have to be really willing to make very specific models instead of very general models.